Welcome to San Angelo Rodeo Live. This is our pre-game show before performance number 6.
Performance 6 tonight. It is a Friday night.
And this is just for prosperity's sake, this is April 12th, 2024, in case someone's watching this in 2029.
Yeah, and we've had some pretty good action in the rodeo so far. A bit of a slower night last night, but we did see a couple new leaders emerge in the saddle bronc. We had another top performance in the bareback, and then we had a couple fast performances in some of the timed events, but it was the demolition derby in the barrel racing.
Right.
Like the first 6 or 7 cowgirls who went, it was just, knocking over barrels here. Just over aggressiveness there, but
I think we're still going to see that aggressiveness, but I think that the things will start to pick up pretty fast because a lot of the guys, the standout. What the heck was that? A lot of the standout athletes are going to be coming in this weekend, so we'll see some. We'll probably have a lot of the standout stock.
Yeah,
You talked yesterday about how, like in bareback, saddle bronc, and bull riding, the stock has a lot. The bull or the horse has a lot to do about the score, as much to do about the score as the cowboy.
Well, in the timed events, that's as true as much as it is for the steers and the calves.
That's true.
So
because last night we had some laggard steers.
Yeah, we did. We had some that wouldn't come out at all, and some that decided that they wanted to beat the horse across the rodeo floor. So.
Anyway, this show, we do a pregame show and a postgame show. It's sponsored by Jim Bass Ford. If you need a new Ford F-250 to haul around your RV and your horse, that's where to go. Houston, Hart, and Arden Road. And we got a commercial from Jim Bass we got to play. We'll come back and we'll go right into all the action.
$499 per month on a new Ford Explorer. You can drive a new Ford Explorer with a third row seat for only $499 per month. This deal is only at Jim Bass Ford, corner of Houston Hart at Arden Road, or 24/7 at bassbunch.com. $499 per month on a new Ford Explorer at Jim Bass Ford. Limited time offer.
It's like you think the commercial's going to end and it doesn't.
Yeah.
But anyway.
Big thanks to Jim Bass Ford once again.
Exactly. Jim Bass Ford, Houston Hart at Arden Road here in San Angelo, Texas. Anyway, a lot of the things that are happening in the rodeo has a history to it.
Mm-hmm.
And you've been doing this for, what,
2 years
2 years now? So you've seen a lot of the results of the history. But I think in this latest genre of rodeo that we're seeing was actually created in Del Rio, Texas, back in the 1980s. And, I learned a lot about this. I didn't know much about, I kept seeing these skulls everywhere when I lived down there, and I didn't know much about, what that was about until about 1997. I get this call from a man named Mac Altizer.
Mm-hmm.
And he says, I understand you understand marketing. I said, well, a little bit. And he kind of talked a little bit. He goes, I'd like to hire you. So for, 5 years, I worked for him as his marketing guy for Bad Company Rodeo and for Badware. So I learned a lot about his vision and what he was trying to do. And a lot of that vision was implemented by a guy that's very much involved in this rodeo, Boyd Polhamus.
Mm-hmm.
But
and for those who don't know him by name, he is the announcer.
He's the announcer.
MC, I guess.
Rides the horse.
Yes.
Rides the big old horse.
Has the nice cowboy voice that
Nice
describes everything happening at the rodeo,
including when camera booms fall in the middle of the arena,
right?
Stuff like that. But anyway, 2 years ago, Manny Diaz and I we sequestered Mr. Boyd Polhamus into over there at the hospitality barn. They just remodeled the hospitality barn. That's kind of our background for it. But Boyd and I talked a lot about the old days and how the current show we have became the way we do it. I mean, he talks about how it was when he first got here in the year 2000, and a lot of the things that he put in there came from Bad Company Rodeo, went to the NFR, in Vegas when they're doing the National Finals Rodeo, and then he brought all that here, kind of more of a polished look. But back in the day, Bad Company Rodeo is known for its bull riding, and one of the things that a lot of people don't know, but there's a bull named Taking Care of Business, and when I worked for him, I couldn't say much about this, but Taking Care of Business was the bull that was involved in the accident that happened up in Wyoming with Lane Frost, and they made a movie about it called
8 Seconds.
Right, and it was named after a Bachman Turner Overdrive hard rock song. And,
we've all heard that song too.
Taking Care of Business.
Yeah, it doesn't matter how old you are. Everyone knows that song.
You've heard that song. But anyway, I mean, for years and years, even, Taking Care of Business, retired to a pasture down on Qualia Drive in Del Rio, Texas, until he passed away probably a decade ago. And but anyway, a lot of memories from that. And I just thought I might share this interview we did with Boyd Polhamus. And James, if you can pull that up and let's play it.
How about cheering for the guy, that gal that sits beside you? Because without you buying those tickets, without you going to that premium sale, without you taking your kids to the carnival, this 90 years never happens. So just one time, let's hear it for the fans of the San Angelo Stock Show and Rodeo.
I announced the NFR for the first time in 1991. And then I was an alternate again in 92 and 93, announced it again in 94, had no position in 95. Alternate 96, announced it in 97. So really what happened was I was starting to grow through the NFR, through the visibility of the NFR. I was announcing Houston, I was announcing Denver.
Let me ask this question. How many of y'all are ready to rodeo at San Angelo tonight?
I got a call from Chris Dublin asking me if I would be interested in coming to San Angelo. At the time I was announcing Bay City, Texas. Bay City was a 3-performance rodeo. San Angelo was a 7-performance rodeo. And so I took him up on his offer, and away we came. Hi, I'm Boyd Polhamus. I'm the rodeo announcer of the San Angelo Stock Show and Rodeo. I started here in the year 2000, Y2K. I was 35 the first time I came, so do the math. I'm hitting 56, 57 right now. I was the first 3-time all-around champion cowboy in the state of Wisconsin. I received a scholarship to compete in Uvalde. I went to Uvalde as a contestant and quickly realized I might, on my best day, win a 3rd or 4th place check. And then all of a sudden, I was pretending to be a rodeo announcer in the practice pen. My coaches heard me. They hired me to announce the college rodeo. Mac Altizer and Bad Company were producing that rodeo, and then Mac encouraged me to get my PRCA card, and it took off from there. Bad Company Rodeo was unconventional rodeo. I mean, Mac Altizer was breaking glass ceilings left and right about what to do and what not to do in the rodeo industry.
Do you hear the music when you're riding?
Yeah, I did. I did.
And I was doing a lot of work for Mac. I mean, I was doing almost everything that Mac did. When it came time to come to San Angelo, this was not going to be a Bad Company rodeo. And so there was some pressure from the Bad Company family to say, hey man, don't go there and do it without them taking all of us. Well, I didn't think I had enough clout or stroke to say, hey, if you're going to hire me to announce, then you've got to bring my stock contracting firm, things of that nature. The Servies were here at the time, and I was working with the Servies in Denver and in Houston. I had a great working relationship with them. So, as far as negotiating, the toughest thing is I was going to have to charge more than Hadley Barrett, because that's just a rule. You don't undercut a guy. You just don't do that to your fellow announcers. And so in order for me to come here, Chris Dublin was going to have to agree to pay me more than he was paying Hadley. And he agreed to that. And I called Hadley to let him know, look, this is what I'm going to charge them to announce it, so I'm not undercutting you, my friend, to get your job. And Hadley was such a saint, just a complete saint. And he congratulated me and wished me well. So when I first come here, yes, I'm in the booth, and the state of the San Angelo Rodeo is, it's a good rodeo. It takes place during the building season, which means the winter run, which means Fort Worth and San Antonio are going on, Tucson's going on in Arizona. You're going to get that clientele of contestants, so you're going to get good contestants. But what the public was watching, as far as when I first got here, was slow and at times very boring, okay? We would open the rodeo with a band. The 4-H youth band would play from behind me in the booth. And then the first thing we do is we'd have a grand entry, and there was nothing grand about it. It was just, 12 or 13 guys or gals on horses riding around a little serpentine in the arena, and they go out, we'd sing, or we'd introduce the president and the rodeo stock contractor, and then we'd start bucking horses. And it was just very traditional, very traditional. And that's what they would be doing at all the other venues as well. But the National Finals Rodeo, which I had worked 8 times up to the point when I came here in 2000, wasn't doing things that way. They were slapping people in the face with light shows and loud music, and they were taking a page from the Bad Company playbook, and they were, they were waking folks up. They weren't coming into a rodeo and being boring. They were coming in and going, hey, it's time to wake up. We're fixing to have some fun. We're gonna buck something. And so then I started bringing some of those ideas to San Angelo, because I saw how successful they were in Las Vegas at the NFR, and the NFR is a huge traditionalist audience, right? There's a lot of old timers go to the NFR, and they didn't like it that much at first, but it was bringing in more people who did than who didn't.
This is not a patch job. This is a total transformation of this Coliseum. You know what it'll be? 45,000 additional square feet.
Things are moving so fast with what we can do with different toys in the room. If that Coliseum had a ring beam, if it had suites, there's just so much more that we can do. And again, I'm learning from having seen other places do it. Houston's got 30,000 volunteers, more than that, now pushing 40. They've given $500 million away in scholarships. They're huge. I don't think we're ever going to catch them on those numbers, never could.
To be able to have a new stadium or expand this one and make it have more seats, that just brings more attention into the sport that I love.
As far as what we do in San Angelo is we continue to build the relationship between the contestant and the fan. We take new technologies and we employ them. Very tough to do in our current venue. I mean, I love her. I love that Coliseum. It's been good to us. The city is a great partner. They really do. But the bottom line is you can only, let's compare it to horses. You got a horse that can run, and he might win at Ruidoso, but he can't win at the Kentucky Derby. Okay, we're going to do fine with this horse at Ruidoso. Okay. But if we want to be Kentucky Derby folks, we need a better horse. And, obviously the horse is the Coliseum.
Now, if you were seated for the prayer, you definitely should be standing by now.
The volunteers that are on our production team here, with all due respect to all the other rodeos I work, who might see this somewhere, they can't compare to San Angelo. San Angelo is so committed, so attentive. The guys that are on our rodeo committee, that have to open gates and strike pyro and place horses in certain places so that Tomas Garcia Lasso can get in when he needs to go. It's just a phenomenal group of people. I've never seen people that have nothing to gain be more pure in their intention of just making this rodeo the best rodeo on planet Earth.
All right, well, that was done about 2 years ago. That was actually, the interview was done 3 years ago inside the hospitality barn here at the rodeo of Boyd Polhamus, who is, of course, our announcer. Been our announcer since the year 2000 here in San Angelo, and actually has been the production guy. And he's the one who's kind of brought in all the pyro and all the fun. And a lot of things are in there. First of all, the history of it, coming back from the 80s in Uvalde, Texas, Del Rio, Texas. One time I was at a Bad Company Rodeo retreat, we call it, but they were roping in an arena down there by the border, right by the river. And, Mac Altizer's ranch, a little ranch, I guess it's ranchette back then. There's probably a section of land down there. And that's where he had a lot of his premium bulls that hung out there. But he has a roping arena in there, and what he did was he would, they'd be betting and all kinds of stuff, and drink a little beer and that kind of thing. And Mac was like the center of attention. Everyone loved the guy, and there's this scrawny kid that always showed up to these things, and he play his guitar, Yeah. And I hadn't, this is in the 90s. I had no idea who the heck he was, but you know who that kid was?
Who?
Ryan Bingham.
Wow.
So I mean,
humble beginnings.
A lot of the things that happened back there in the late 90s, before rodeo was really transformed, when Bad Company Rodeo had this 30-city tour, and a lot of these rodeos that he talks about, like Texas City and Rosenberg, those were our former Bad Company Rodeo tour spots, And so Bad Company Rodeo had a whole bunch of stock, and they were the stock contractors, and they had they had this tour, and the tour had its own money to it and had its own buckle. Everybody wanted to win one of those Bad Company Rodeo buckles.
Because they were unique.
Yeah, they're very unique. It's kind of like, I'm the baddest rodeo guy in the world. I got a Bad Company Rodeo buckle for bull riding. That was a big deal back then. But as things evolved, a lot of the primarily putting rock and roll music into the rodeo. Now we have Josh Hilton, who's he's younger. He didn't have any recollection of the Bad Company Rodeo days because he was probably in diapers back then. But a lot of that stuff kind of paved the way for the kind of rodeo show we have today. And then the next thing that he talked about, and then of course this was 3 years ago, he was talking about that Coliseum. And the Coliseum kind of became a little bit of a political football in that it's started out as a $24 million project to upgrade it and add the 45,000 square feet, try to get the seating close to 10,000 people, that kind of thing. And then, no one in leadership in this town has stood up and said, let's do it. And I'm going to say right now, I think we need to forego trying to rebuild this Coliseum and figure out how to build a $200 million Coliseum and convention center, because our convention center is another thing that's is kind of holding back this town. And I believe that there is if you build it, they will come kind of benefit or pay out at the end. But we just got to get more people to think big. And the only way you're going to get there is to think big. And a lot of this stuff that happened back in the late 90s, 2000s, around the rodeo was thinking big, But anyway, that was Boyd Polhamus. That was a really good piece that Manny did. And I, of course, I was the guy asking all the questions, trying to, pull that stuff out of old Boyd. He kind of gets a little, he'll talk about the current stuff and won't talk about the new stuff. But with that, let's go into the top 5 in 2 events.
So
top 5 in 2 events.
We have a cowgirl who is competing in 2 events, and we were lucky enough to interview her. But it is Timber Allenbrand, the cowgirl from Kansas.
She's not just competing; she's in the top 5 for 2
so
events.
It's very impressive in and of itself. And she is in breakaway roping, and she is in the barrel racing. And we saw her barrel race. And we interviewed her after her barrel race. But
this is like in Performance 3, I believe.
Yes, on Saturday night last weekend. But the impressive thing to me is that it's like you don't see it very often, and when you do, you just kind of want to shout it out and say, hey,
here
this
she
girl's
is.
special,
Yeah.
So
what makes her tick? She's from Kansas.
Yeah, and she's got a very unique name.
Timber
Timber
Allenbrand.
Yeah, and of course, I think...
Why is that? Why do parents name their kids things like Timber these days? I mean, back when I was growing up, it was Joe, Mike.
Well, I think it's a cowboy thing. I think cowboy names are more unique.
I think it's the millennials. The millennials want to name their kids something you can't spell.
All I'm saying, Joe, is millennials are probably not her parents.
You think?
Yeah.
Okay.
So you might be knocking down your own generation there.
You think the boomers had names?
You're
like
a boomer?
That?
I didn't even know that.
Well, I'm a Jones.
But anyway, we like to shout out when these athletes are doing well, and Timber is doing incredibly well. And I know we're a long way from the finals, so some of these standings might not hold, but as it currently stands, she's in top 5 in the breakaway and the barrel racing right now. So if she makes it twice on our scores page at the end, it's worth shouting out. But like I said, we did interview her on Saturday after Performance 3, her and her horse. So, James,
What did her horse say?
Well,
I guess we'll have to see.
James, if you want to pull that up. And remember, the barrel racing coverage is brought to you by Texas Angels Boutique. But
221 South Chadron.
Yeah, but our timed events are brought to you by Lip Chip.
So we have like dual sponsorships.
Yep, for this particular interview. All right, joining us now is Timber Allenbrand, Kansas cowgirl. Just ran a 14-2 at San Angelo Rodeo, good enough to put her in the top 5 for now. Timber, how are we feeling after that run?
Pretty great. We've been trying to come back off of an injury last year, and I'm just super grateful for every run we get, and tonight was super fun.
and he seems like he's still a bit hyped up. What is your horse's name?
This is Berkeley. This is a mare I've had since she's about 4 years old, and she's taken me so many places. I'm so grateful for her, and you know, every year we come here and do our best, and this year I'm grateful for where she is, and she exceeded my expectations for where we are in life. So.
Yep. And it seems like everyone has been pushing the limit a little bit in these second and third performances today, just after how fast opening night was. Is that something that you think about before the race starts, or is it just I'm going to go out and run my best race?
I think everybody runs their own race. You know, they're all so different, and they all have their own style, and we all ride differently, and so it's fun to just, you know, let them shine how they want to be. But we're definitely going all out tonight.
All right, well, congratulations on the run. That 14-2 is actually going to be good enough to probably send you somewhere down the line. Hopefully we will see you on the final day, you know. But again, this has been Timber Allenbrand, cowgirl from Kansas, and this barrel racing coverage has been brought to you by Texas Angels Boutique.
All right, well, that was a pretty good interview.
Yeah,
I
will do my best.
I think that's so crazy. Why do I even say that after these things? All right, what did you learn about this girl?
I learned.
You didn't learn anything, did you?
No. Okay. So first off, I learned where and where not to stand while I'm interviewing these cowgirls at night, because as you can see, she had a bit of a shadow coming from her cowboy hat.
And we got a light.
Yeah, we got a light.
So
we're
going to name that light the Timber Light.
All right. Yeah, but I mean. Especially in these early races, like we've said it before, it's just impressive that the times are already so low. And of course, she ran a 14.20 on Performance 3. It was opening weekend, you know,
which means she's probably going to be in the final on Friday.
And well, at this point, she already has 2 runs. She's already in the top 5 in the average, and so like if her time holds at this point, we will definitely see her next Friday for one final race.
But I think she's number 3 or something in breakaway. We'll have to look when we get to the
I'm about to say, we'll go over the scores here in a little bit. But, like I said, I thought this whole segment was my idea because I thought that was cool, you know, that she was even in there. Yeah. But along with Timber and Texas Angels Boutique with the barrel racing, all our timed events, let's talk about Lip Chip for a minute.
Lip Chip. It's a chip that goes into or they basically take care of your horse with the thing. It's an app. Mostly an app, but it has the sensor that you put into the
horse's lip.
And you can tell its temperature, all its diagnostics and things like that. There's also checking in with various events. You know, like if you're going, if someone that is, you can check in with a rodeo, for example. They can say we're a Lip Chip rodeo. You can actually check in with it, and they can check your horse, make sure everything's good to go, that kind of thing. And it gives you your veterinarian could look at it, you know, remotely.
Yeah. So it basically is just to track the health of your horse, and but not to know where it is. No GPS yet.
Yeah.
I know I've said that a couple times, but it's funny.
Anyway, eventually I'm sure they'll have some kind of GPS thing for a horse. But anyway, Lip Chip has sponsored this series of interviews with Cole Harris. He's related to the Harris family, Ty Harris. He's one of the top tie-down ropers in America right now from San Angelo. And so Cole is breaking into the video world and has access to a lot of, you know, he's at that age, has access to a lot of these athletes. And he found a team roper this time who has earned $780,000 so far in his career.
So
he's
up
and coming. He's up and coming.
Not to mention this cowboy's name is Paden Bray. He's from Stephenville, so he's a local West Texas guy, and he's a 3-time NFR qualifier, and he was the Rookie of the Year in 2019. So,
all right. With no further ado, let's break to Cole Harris and Paden Bray.
3-time NFR qualifier, American champion,
Well, then give the intro, big dog. You got it. I'm just telling you. Hey, guys, welcome back to another interview. My name's Cole Harris with my cousin Ty Harris. And today, you just heard him say, 3-time NFR qualifier, Rookie of the Year in 2019.
American champion,
the
Paden Bray.
The Paden Bray. Thanks for being here, bro.
Thanks. Feels like home over here at the Harris compound.
That's what I was about to ask you, bro. How much time you think you spent? I mean, you've been growing up. Y'all been friends forever. You spent a lot of time over here at the house.
Yeah, it's funny. Dorley, Ty's mom, and Braden's mom, and the whole Harris clan mom. I call her Mama Harris on my phone. But she sent a text today, a picture, and it was pretty funny of Ty, Braden, and I in the Junior Open, and it was a 1900 Junior Open at Midland. And I like this said, it just feels like same thing, just different era, different rodeo, but
same facial expressions and everything.
Yeah,
Nothing's changed.
Bro,
the storyline is set up this year for the Bray brothers. You're open this year. You're healing. Your brother's a header. We didn't say that. All his accolades, we said he is a team roper. We should start off with that for San Angelo Live viewers. You're healing for your brother Wyatt Bray. The storyline's set up. Are y'all about to take over this year or what?
we're gonna do everything we can, and yeah, I know it's exciting. We just had a good. He got in all the buildings. We kind of had a October on. We went to some rodeos to get in the buildings and how it works. It's top 3 to 5 from New Year, depending on the rodeo, to kind of get in. And he was number 1 to get in for New Year out of the October, November rodeos. And we never quit rodeoing. We come home and I tried to get in the buildings in the calf roping and just was 1 or 2 out. But he got in the team roping, so that was pretty cool. And then that's kind of where it all started. So then we kind of decided we were going to do it, and never thought it'd be this fast. But when things kind of happen, you just kind of got to take them and run with them. So that's what we did.
And you didn't think it'd be this fast, like that, him being your partner, right? I mean, you
dreamt
about it growing up, but just didn't know it was going to be this young in y'all's career.
Just kind of the timing kind of just made sense. He's roping good, and we got to go buddy together last year, and he kind of got his feet wet. So it's a process, and I just really want to enjoy the journey and take it for what it is, and just maximize an opportunity with him.
Well, it's also crazy too, because it seems like the times are getting these headers and healers are getting better and better each year. Like y'all boys go fast. Your brother's also 6'8",
6'9".
6'9". So it seems like he's out there reaching on them things, bro.
Yeah.
So that's crazy, bro. Can you please talk about? We haven't heard anybody talk about it. Everyone knew like on the road last summer what happened, but like I guess no podcast, no media really covered it. Talk about your wreck last year. What happened with that, and if you want to talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, no, it was rodeo. I would say rodeo is a lot like life, and everyone's like, well, that's just. I just think certain things happen and, adversity hits, but it's just, I don't know. I just don't know no other way to handle it. Thank God that we were safe, and no horse okay. Everything was okay, but we had a bad wreck about an hour and a half from Ogden, Utah, on the salt flats off the interstate. And both my brother's horses didn't make it, rolled the trailer twice. 2 horses miraculously did make it, not a scratch on any of us. And it's a little, I'd say quite traumatizing, but now even driving down the road, if I hit rumble strips or someone hits rumble strips, used to, I would, be able to sleep and not worry about it. But now it's kind of like I kind of jump up because it's that eerie feeling where you're like, I'm not going to get in a wreck. And then after you've been in a wreck, it's like, oh, like, well, what if it's this time? You know what I mean? So it's kind of like, I don't know how to explain it, but the fact that it did happen, there's a little bit of PTSD, but that's just part of it. But, it was pretty surreal. It was a fast 24 hours, but life kind of moves on, and I'll just try to focus on the positive. Big shout out to my brother though. Last summer he had a hard year. Like a lot of people don't realize how much he kind of went through, and he stayed true, and he spun steers and had a positive attitude. He had better attitude than I did most of the time, and I had a lot less things happen to me than he did. So that just shows how strong his faith is and where his values are at, in my opinion.
He had to spend a lot of time cutting his horses out. And I mean, that's a really, really traumatizing deal to see that happen to, because those horses are like family, to these guys and to us. So it's a tough deal.
Tough. One of the coolest, I don't know if it's the coolest story, but it's a terrible, terrible thing that happened. But then one of the coolest stories that the Cowboy Channel covered briefly, but the day after it happened, y'all were up at Salt Lake City, right?
That night.
Yeah. And then you all ended up, y'all win the round?
Yeah, it was a crazy 24 hours, man. We had a wreck about 7 a.m. I don't know how to explain it, but everybody pulled over, everybody helped, and it's just kind of the cowboy way, you know what I mean? Everybody tries to make it to the next one and doing all you can do. And we had our stuff in 3 different rigs, rig totaled. Like I said, 2 horses didn't make it. And then people just kept helping along the way. Called this guy, brings this crew, and this son and his man come out and help with the skid steer, help pull the horses out. The firefighters are there, and they kind of get wore out. And then Wyatt steps in and takes over with the jaws of life, and we try to get horses out. And then Brenton shows up and Josh Patton shows up. They help. We get everything out. And then my brother and my girlfriend and Josh, they go in the stock trailer and they take horses to the vet. and they ride with them in the stock trailer with the horses to make sure that they can do all they can do. And then I take the one horse that passed away and I go take him at this place, at this people's house that I don't know, but they're very good people, and we bury him and take care of him. And then we get in Britton's rig, and then we go to the rodeo, and it's just everything's happening fast. And then Ben Jordan, we kept our horses as we were going back and forth from Salt Lake to Salinas. We kept our horses at Ben Jordan's house right there outside of Spanish, and then go get them horses. And then we're up that night, and it was just like bam, bam, bam. And we didn't get to go to slack that morning at all, doing what we were supposed to. And then it was just, I didn't eat, didn't really drink much. It was just, I mean, I don't know. It was, and then you kind of got in that moment where it was like, all right, just don't do too much. And then this team open started, and the first team out just blasts. They go like 4, second team goes 4, and you're just thinking. Then after that, I was like, you know what? I don't have nothing to lose. I'm just going to kind of let it go. And then I don't know, I just had this eerie calmness over me. And I'm pretty sure you guys know who it was. It wasn't me. I mean, the big guy was taking care of me up there. But I had this calmness, and I'm like, just do what you do. And I seen kind of Britton cock it, and then I'm like, all right. And then we freaking blast one. We go 3-9, and couldn't have happened a better time for our season. And then just, yeah, it was kind of surreal. It was a real surreal 24 hours. I didn't have a sponsor shirt on because I didn't have nothing. I had to borrow a shirt from my buddy because just didn't have the things I needed. And, you know, but that's just, I think there's a bigger picture to all, but we're so blessed to be in such a great industry and be around such great people. And when bad things happen, everybody comes together and something good comes out of it.
Yeah, that's just how rodeo is, how the rodeo
Crazy.
people are, family.
Yeah.
Crazy story, man.
Yeah.
And so I guess the transition to San Angelo, you're up in San Angelo tonight at 7:30 p.m. I guess
the best winter rodeo of the year, in my opinion.
About this atmosphere, dude.
Yes.
Nothing like it.
You walk in, it's just different. Like I walked in last night, and I just kind of think it's a normal rodeo, and you back in there, and you just walk in, and the stands from here to there packed, and it's just the fans are different here. They love rodeo. They love people. And I'm telling you what, when I see this man over here or his brother or anyone from San Angelo tie one fast, I'm talking this the loudest, most noise, the volume. I just can't explain how the atmosphere is in San Angelo when the time events come on, and that's not normal.
I'm telling you, it's electric. They know, they pay attention, they're watching, they're not on. I mean,
you can't even get tickets.
Phone. You can't get a ticket anywhere. It's good. So they're gonna get pretty loud for old Paden Bray when he goes about 3-8 tonight. For the Bray brothers tonight when they go 3-8.
I love it. That's what my next question. So your mindset going in tonight, and I guess your mindset for the season. What is oh gosh, we got a loose horse. Hopefully it comes to the camera so y'all can see. No, it stopped. But what is your mindset and your goal? Like, I guess to put it simply, what are you focused on? Like when you're, oh, there she go.
Unbelievable.
Y'all thought I was lying, but I wasn't lying.
Make sure you get the culprit. Say hi, Broganator.
Oh my gosh.
Check that out on San Angelo Live, sponsored by Lip Chip.
Sponsored by Lip Chip.
This is if there's ever been just something normal to happen, this is it.
This is it right here. This is the content. What, Paden, what is your mindset? I guess when you're headed into tonight, what are you actively thinking? Are you picturing your run? Are you like, man, I know what I gotta do. I'm just focusing on peace. What are you like? How is your mind for the run tonight?
Well, man, it's pretty simple in a way. This is my 5th year doing it, and I just kind of know when to flip a switch, and you know, it's a lot of it's energy too. You know, I'm gonna get to watch the Calf Open, third event tonight, and I'm pretty sure after they start tying the heck out of them over there, my boy over here does good. I'm gonna get real excited. Then I'll have to calm down a little bit. But I'm real process oriented. I like to do my job, and I know my job's good enough. And usually, if I do my job, I get paid. So I just try to stay in my own way, cover my bases, run my fundamentals, and just try to slow the run down a little bit. Because with the atmosphere and everything, my adrenaline's already gonna be running high. I'm gonna be excited. I'm gonna be wanting to do good, but sometimes the best time to do good and the best way to do good is just to kind of let everything happen and do your job.
Yeah, going fast definitely isn't your problem. Just focus on your process, and the time takes care of itself.
Yep.
Also, just to correct you on, we're getting pretty old. Dude, this is your 6th year, Cowboy.
Well, just like being 24, 25. I mean, after you get to a certain number, it just don't matter.
It's all the same.
Yeah, it really is.
All right, we're going to get into some predictions for tonight. Timed events sponsored by Lip Chip. We're going to start with the bulldogging. So
I hope they ate their Wheaties because I watched it last night. And
Jeez.
those Bulldog and steers are all
Steers
you
are
want.
strong. Those some big, strong guys just getting pushed all over the arena.
I'm gonna go with that little group of Stephen Cohen and Dalton Massey.
Yep.
That's a pretty good group. Stephen Wood, Dalton Massey's in our circuit in Columbia River, and he damn near won the world last year, and he's been lighting them up. And I think he wants a little bit of revenge. And Stephen, I've seen him ride a boogie board pretty good. And I know he's got it.
He's a big guy, but he's athletic. Like he can move. He's shifty for sure. Yeah, I flew back just now from Logandale with Stephen Culling. We talked a little bit about some bulldogging, and he's really figured it out. He said he's 30 years old. He's always done good, but he's man, the last couple of years he's been killing it. So
he's Canadian too.
Yeah, he is Canadian.
Yeah. So he ain't scared of nothing. So
no, he'll hunt,
that
work,
big steer,
fish, bulldog, whatever you name it, he'll do it. Yeah, I'm gonna go Stephen Culling. Them steers are strong, man. 4-2 with Stephen Culling 4-2.
did you say a time?
I didn't say time.
No, we're gonna pin you down. What time?
Okay, you go Stephen. I'll go Dalton. I'll go 4-4.
Yeah. So now we got team roping. We're betting on Paden and Boyd Bray.
I'm good. And Angelo, man, I'm good for a 3. I've been 3-8 three times and 3-6 once. So I mean, I'm not worried about it. I mean, this is kind of my whole half-ass hometown rodeo. I mean, I'm usually good for a 3 in the second round or the first round. It don't matter.
3 on your permit here too, weren't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, Brett Stewart.
Yeah.
Oh, Stewie.
Yeah. It was the one out of making a short round that year too. So I love it.
I forgot he'd been 3 so many times here. I said 3-8 earlier. I'm sticking with it. Wyatt Bray, Paden Bray, 3-8.
That don't get you fired up. I don't know what will. That's
I'll just go under.
Under.
That don't get your fire burning your woods wet, boy.
Okay, so we got breakaway roping now.
Kelsey Domer, 2-4.
Good prediction. That's actually a really good prediction.
That is a good prediction.
The time too. I like the
times have been a little longer than.
I mean,
the Texas swing has been so fast, and then San Angelo it hasn't been quite as fast as what you would think.
Calves are kind of inconsistent, kind of bigger.
Yeah.
Looked like some kind of old roped out calves a little bit, like someone to check off, kind of.
Yeah.
Good 5-on-2 kind of deal. Looks like should be all right.
Yes, sir.
I'm gonna go Shelby Medjid from Calgary, Alberta. Recently moved to Texas, married to the world champion Haven. I'm going to say she's going to go 2-2.
I didn't know she was from Canada.
You didn't?
I did not know she was from Canada.
She's Miss Canada.
Yeah,
wow.
She's from Canada.
Yeah.
I'm still learning.
You can't tell by how handy she is?
I should know. I should know.
On,
Okay, we got tie down roping. Okay, we're going to get the list out. But we got one guy who's up.
I don't have to get the list
We
out.
got this guy up right here.
Yeah.
Tonight, Friday, 7:30 p.m. Paden Bray. How fast do you think he's going to go?
Hometowner. Probably going to draw good because that's just how we do over here in Angelo. I'm going to go under 7-3. 7-3 under.
What do you got? How fast?
I was going to say 7-5, but that sounds better.
I mean, earlier you were saying, hey, maybe sub 7 if we make 6-9, 6-8.
I said during this 2024 San Angelo Rodeo, I could see myself going 6-8 because I plan on having 4 runs at it. You know, you got the shootout and 5 runs.
Yeah.
2 runs in the shootout and 3 runs in the rodeo, 5 runs. I plan on going 6 at some point.
At some point.
I got Mo ready, and I plan on going fast. Whatever they run in for me, I'm gonna try to make the best run I can. But we'll see. I'll actually show up tonight, and then you'll see.
I'll tell you, boys, if that'll get you fired up.
Your wood's wet.
Your wood's wet. Okay, guys. Perf. Is that it, huh?
That's it.
That's it. Peyton, you ready to go kill him tonight?
I'm ready.
It's going to be good. We'll see y'all tonight at 7:30 p.m. at the San Angelo Stock Show and Rodeo. It's going to be a good one. Do not miss it. We'll see y'all there.
Well, thank you, Paden Bray and Cole Harris. We appreciate that. And Lip Chip for sponsoring these interviews, which are awesome, I think. We got one more thing before we get into the arena, and that's the scores. We got to look over the standings at the San Angelo Rodeo in 2024 as of the end of performance number 5. Here we go. Are we ready, James? There we go.
In the bareback, as of last night, we got Cooper Cook with an 88.5 leading. R.C. Landingham rode last night, second place by himself with an 87, and Ethan Mazarenko, Performance 1 with an 86. In the steer wrestling, we had Matt Reeves. He is leading the average. This is the average right now, which is 2 runs added together. He has leading with an 8.4. Cole Walker is trailing with an 8.7, and then Trevor Nelson with an 8.9. In the team roping, we got James Arviso and J.R. Gonzalez leading with an 8.7. Shea Carroll and Jace Helton with a 9.4. Cash Duty, Rosh Ashford with a 10.1. This is the event I'd like to see a little bit of a shakeup because that has been the standings for a couple nights. Finally, in the saddle bronc riding, we have Sage Newman with an 87.5. That was a ride last night. That was one of the new leaders. Then, of course, we also interviewed Lefty Coleman. He got that 87. Court Shear, Tyrell Roberts, 86.5 are tied for third. In the tie down, we got Marty Yates leading the average, and again, this is 2 runs together with 15.5. Cash Cooper is trailing that with a 16.3, and Ryan Jarrett rounds out the top 3 with a 16.4. In breakaway roping, Allie Masters leads after two.
She's
two
number
goes
2
with 4.4. There is Timber Allenbrand with a 4.7. Brooke Eddy with 4.0, and we still have some breakaway ropers to go, but there's one of Timber's placings right there. In the barrel racing, Donna K. Rule leads with 30.25. Ashley Castleberry with a 30.54. If you see Timber Allenbrand's name there again, she's in 4th place at 30.60. And finally, our last event, the bull riding, J.R. Stratford, Performance 1. Got that 90. Jackson Carter Ward, it has an 86.5.
No, it's tied. It's a 4-way tie for second.
Yeah,
look at that.
All the way down. So we got Bo Gardner, Vanell Mariano, and I missed the last name. But
I interrupted you. I'm sorry.
Threw me off my game, Joe. But
sorry,
anyway,
man.
I've actually gotten pretty good at reading those scores so fast because during football season, we do the Cover 1 show every single week, and that's something that me, James Blaney, do every football season. We have to rattle off those scores.
You got to flip through them fast
Yep.
because there's so many of them. Yeah,
there's 50 or 60 high schools that we
and that's
cover.
why we call this the pregame show, not the pre-rodeo show. It's the pregame show, and we don't wear hats.
Yeah. So and I will say that's one thing that we've done differently this year, and it's cool. Like we've modeled this kind of like our Cover 1 football show.
Right.
So I think it's been a success so far. But guys, again, we need comments.
Yeah. Send us your compliments, not complaints. We just want to hear compliments.
No, but even a critique.
Okay, critique.
We could change it up
a
little bit.
Send it to Ryan, not me, because I'll get all hurt.
Thick-skinned, thin-skinned, I guess.
Yeah, I'm very thin-skinned. Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, Performance 6 is going to start relatively shortly within like a half hour, an hour or so at this point. But we will be back after the Performance 6 with the post-game show.
Updated scores, more interviews with the winners.
And, of course, highlights and what else we got? Just highlights, right?
Yeah. And this has been San Angelo Rodeo Live, brought to you by San Angelo Live. This is Ryan Chadwick. I'm Joe Hyde. See you after the rodeo.